Well met, one and all. How curious it is to see you all here once again. Did you not have your fill of tragedy when last we met? No. Very well then. But do remember that this story is not for the faint of heart. Our story, as you may remember, began with an old man meeting two young warriors who seemed naive to the true nature behind the myths of the gods that came before. The old man proceeded to tell the tale of Odin's days before Ragnarok, which all began with the grim prophecy brought to Odin by the Nornir that he would meet his end at the fangs of a great wolf named Fenrir. They also brought grave tidings for the future of his kingdom, for events that were to transpire before the twilight of the gods would even take place. Odin, not heeding this warning, proceeded to set his hall for an elaborate feast to dispel any notion of tragedy from his mind. Fate had other plans, however, as his oldest son, Balder, was struck and killed by his own brother wielding a mistletoe-adorned spear. The whole kingdom was overwrought with horror as the Allfather then began to search for any possible culprit other than his own son that could have been the cause to Balder's death. Not long after, Loki's son was discovered to have been snuck into Asgard and may have been involved in providing Hodder the weapon that killed his twin. What the king of the Aesir found more troubling upon interrogation of Loki's child was his name, Fenrir. Odin locked Fenrir away as he could not kill him and violate his oaths to Loki, but he was at a loss of what to do next. Loki volunteered the services of his daughter, claiming that a bargain could be struck between Odin and the Queen of the Dead that would convince her to bring Balder's soul back to this realm. Her one condition for that demand to be met was that all of Asgard had to weep for Balder's death. Only then would she feel his loss justified a resurrection. During this time, Odin's other son, Thor, had decided to beat Hodder into confessing his intention to kill Balder, as he was not convinced of his brother's innocence in the matter. Unfortunately, Thor's overeager attempt caused Hodder to perish before any confession would take place. Distraught and bereft by this development, Odin disowned Thor and cast him out from the kingdom. Then, on the final day of Lady Hel's challenge, an unknown woman came forward claiming she would not weep for Odin's son, damning Balder to the frosty depths of Helheim for all eternity. In Odin's grief and vulnerability, he took advantage of Thor's wife, Lady Sif. Sif had once been a great and strong huntress with infallible instincts, but years of neglect and manipulation had left her under the delusional notion that she was now in love with the Allfather, and that he felt the same for her. She practically threw herself at his feet when given the opportunity. The poor thing. Queen Freya, who had been attempting to keep her composure during all these horrific ordeals, finally broke when she witnessed her husband's infidelity with her own eyes. Her actions afterwards gave Odin what he considered a justified reason to exile her from the kingdom so that he may continue his dalliance with Sif, but at the cost of alienating his friendship with Tyr. Shortly after, Odin asked to speak with Loki on the current state of the kingdom, along with the other tragedies. Through a lengthy discussion, Odin proceeded to inform him that he had finally realized the common factor shared through everything that had happened was Loki. He confronted the trickster god about what he had done, and Loki more than happily confessed. Odin challenged him to a trial by combat for the dishonor he felt, and brutally defeated his newfound foe. He then banished his former friend to a life of exile with a traitor's mark branded to his hand, and released Fenrir from the dungeons, only to imprison him on a remote island just off the shores of Asgard. Odin was victorious in protecting his kingdom, but at what cost? Please sit back and relax as we continue the story began in Odin's Hall. We do hope you enjoy the beginning and the conclusion of Odin's Fall.